The Constitution of India is the most important book for our country. It is the supreme law of the land. All other laws must follow what the Constitution says. It lays down the basic rules for how India should be governed. This document is not just a set of rules, it is a promise of justice, liberty and equality for all its citizens. It creates the framework for our government and defines the relationship between the government and the people. The journey to create this constitution was long and thoughtful, involving many great leaders who wanted to build a strong and united India after independence. This great document was created by the Constituent Assembly. This assembly worked for almost 3 years to write it. They discussed every part of it very carefully. On November 26, 1949, the Constituent Assembly adopted the Constitution. This day is now celebrated as Constitution Day in India. However, the Constitution came into full effect on January 26, 1950. We celebrate this day as Republic Day every year. This date was chosen to honor the Purna Swaraj or Complete Independence Declaration of 1930. The Constitution replaced the Government of India Act of 1935 as the country's fundamental governing document. The Indian Constitution is very unique because it is the longest written constitution of any country in the world. When it was first made, it had a preamble, 395 articles divided into 22 parts and 8 schedules. Over the years, many changes called amendments have been made. Today, it has grown even longer. It now has about 470 articles in 25 parts and 12 schedules. This length is because it includes detailed provisions for the central government, state governments, and many other institutions. It aims to leave no room for doubt about how the country should be run. The preamble is the introduction to our constitution. It is like the soul of the document. The preamble declares that India is a sovereign, socialist, secular and democratic republic. It promises to secure for all its citizens justice in social, economic and political life, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, and equality of status and opportunity. It also aims to promote fraternity, which means a feeling of brotherhood, to assure the dignity of every individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. These words summarize the core values and goals of our nation. Our constitution sets up a federal system of government. This means power is divided between the central government in New Delhi and the state governments in each state. The constitution has lists that clearly say which subjects the central government can make laws on and which subjects the state governments can handle. This division helps in managing a large and diverse country like India effectively. However, our federal system has a special feature. During a national emergency, the central government can become very powerful, and the system can work like a unitary one, where the center has control over the states. India follows a parliamentary system of government. This system is borrowed from the British model. In this system, the parliament is the supreme lawmaking body. The Indian parliament has 2 houses: media group, Lok Sabha chamber, members of parliament in Lok Sabha at stock at distribute equally. The Lok Sabha, which is the house of the people, and the Rajya Sabha, which is the council of states. Members of the Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people for a term of 5 years. The Rajya Sabha has members who are elected by the members of the state legislative assemblies. It is a permanent house, and its members have a 6-year term. The Prime Minister is the head of the government and holds the real executive power. The President of India is the head of the state. The President is like the formal head of the country and the Commander-in-Chief of our armed forces. However, the President's role is mostly ceremonial. The real power lies with the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. The President acts on the advice of the Prime Minister. All decisions of the government are taken in the name of the President, but it is the Prime Minister who leads the government and makes the important policy decisions. This arrangement ensures that the government is responsible to the Parliament, which is elected by the people. The Constitution also establishes an independent judiciary. This is a very important feature for a democracy. The judiciary's job is to protect the Constitution and ensure that the laws are followed by everyone, including the government. The Supreme Court is the highest court in the country. It has the power to interpret the Constitution and settle disputes between the central government and the states. The independence of the judiciary is protected by the Constitution to ensure that it can deliver justice without any fear or favor. This system of checks and balances prevents any one part of the government from becoming too powerful. The Constitution of India guarantees certain fundamental rights to all its citizens. These rights are essential for a person to live with dignity and develop their personality fully. There are 6 main fundamental rights. These are the right to equality, which ensures everyone is equal before the law; the right to freedom, which includes freedom of speech and expression; the right against exploitation, which prohibits things like child labor; the right to freedom of religion, allowing everyone to practice their own faith; cultural and educational rights, protecting the languages and cultures of minorities; and the right to constitutional remedies, which allows a citizen to go to court if their rights are violated. Along with rights, the Constitution also lists some fundamental duties for every citizen. These were added to the Constitution later in 1976. The duties remind us that while we have rights, we also have responsibilities towards our country. These duties include respecting the Constitution and its institutions, the national flag, and the national anthem. They also encourage us to uphold the sovereignty and unity of India, to promote harmony and brotherhood among all people, to protect our natural environment, and to safeguard public property. These duties are not enforceable by law, but they are moral obligations for every Indian. The Constitution also contains a set of directive principles of state policy. These are guidelines or instructions for the government. They are goals that the country should try to achieve. For example, they advise the state to work for the welfare of the people by providing social and economic justice. They suggest policies like providing a living wage for workers, ensuring equal pay for equal work for both men and women, organizing village panchayats, and providing free and compulsory education for children. Unlike fundamental rights, you cannot go to court if these principles are not followed, but they are fundamental in the governance of the country. One of the core values of our Constitution is secularism. This means that India does not have an official state religion. The state treats all religions equally and with respect. Every person has the right to profess, practice, and propagate their own religion freely. The government cannot discriminate against any citizen on the grounds of religion. This principle is very important for a country like India, which is home to people of many different faiths. Secularism helps in maintaining peace and harmony among different religious communities and strengthens the unity of the nation. Our Constitution is not a rigid and unchangeable document. The makers of the Constitution understood that society would change over time, so they included a process to amend or change the Constitution. This process is neither too easy nor too difficult. Some parts of the Constitution can be changed by a simple majority in Parliament. However, major changes require a special majority of 2/3 of the members present and voting in both houses of Parliament. Some very important amendments also need to be approved by at least half of the state legislatures. This flexibility helps the Constitution to adapt to new needs and challenges. Over the years, many important amendments have been made. For example, the 42nd Amendment, made in 1976, added the words socialist and secular to the preamble. It also added the fundamental duties. The 73rd and 74th Amendments gave constitutional status to Panchayati Raj institutions in villages and municipalities in cities, strengthening local self-government. Another significant amendment was the 86th Amendment, which made the right to education a fundamental right for children between the ages of 6 and 14. These changes show how the Constitution has evolved to meet the aspirations of the people. The Constitution promotes the idea of a united India through features like a single citizenship. This means that no matter which state a person is born in or lives in, they are a citizen of India. There is no separate citizenship for the states. This helps to create a feeling of national identity and unity among all Indians. Another important feature is the universal adult franchise. This means that every citizen who is 18 years of age or older has the right to vote in elections, regardless of their caste, creed, religion, gender, or wealth. This gives everyone an equal say in choosing their government. In conclusion, the Constitution of India is much more than a legal document. It is the foundation of our democracy and a guide for our nation's future. It provides a framework for a government that is accountable to the people. It protects our rights and freedoms and promotes equality and justice for all. By balancing the powers of different organs of the state and by being flexible enough to change with the times, the Constitution has successfully held our diverse country together. It continues to be the light that guides India on its path of progress, ensuring its unity and strengthening its democratic spirit.